Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mikhail back again to my channel, Everyday How2s. And today's November 18th, 2023. And just wanted to come back on just for a few minutes, keep it short and sweet today. Just take another look at the charts and just kind of see some of the things that I'm practicing around reversals and really trying to get a strong grip of reversals and making sure that I'm kind of positioning myself correctly because what I'm really trying to do is make sure I got a good understanding. Well, I'm really trying to use the higher time frames to really give me a good understanding of the reversals and kind of when and how that looks like, because I usually trade more on the 5 minute, trying to use the higher time frames to really give me a good feel and view of what a decent reversal looks like. And I've gotten in on trades that obviously, like most people, you think is going to reverse because it hits your support, right? But a lot of times it just bounces up and down, like I was doing right here in this black box before it actually does a reversal and heads the other direction. So just trying to refine how I do that by studying this a little bit more. So I'm on the daytime frame right here. I think when I go up on a daytime frame here, let's say I go down to the 1 hour, this is how that area looks. You can see it bounces, 3 times here before it actually makes the reversal. So does it actually make a reversal? And this is what I want to get better at, you know, I'm usually again on the 5 minute, so I could easily come in here and maybe come in on this first bounce, maybe get a little bit of action on that first bounce. So for example, let's see what it would look like if I was on the 5 minute. See if I could actually find it. Okay, here it is. So yeah. So if I'm on the 5 minute, I see this bounce. Probably may not catch this first one, but let's say I was back on the market during the Asian session. I have my all kill zones on right now. So over here in the white, you know, here that would have been the US session when this first bounce would have happened. So I could have probably caught this. And I probably could have caught this. Let me see if I don't remember if, yeah, I think this was a bounce from someplace else. So because it's going way back here. So there was another point where this bounced off. So let's say price had come here. I could have potentially caught this first one, right? And it came here. I probably would have been in the market around this time because 9 a.m. is usually when I don't really do anything before 9. My time, I'm on Central. I don't really do anything before 9 a.m. So it's possible it could have came here, you know. Usually I don't get in on a trade until I see a strong candle with no wicks at the bottom. That's usually what I use for my signal. I know other people use like doji candles and things like that. And I'm kind of getting into some of that more. But I probably wouldn't have gotten on this because there's a wick on the bottom of this candle. And I usually wait for a nice strong candle, strong Hikanachi candle in the direction I want to go with no wicks on the bottom. So I probably wouldn't have gotten here. So this I would have, not done that. So that would have been okay. But here, I probably would have gotten enticed on this trade right here, right? This is a pretty good candle. No, very small wick here. So I would have gotten enticed on that. If not this one, I probably would have gotten enticed on this candle. So it's possible I would have been able to get away with this, do this candle. I probably would have gotten in here, put my stop loss below here somewhere, right below this big candle wick right here. And it would have went up, teeter-totter a little bit, and I probably would have made this one. This probably would have been a good example of one that I probably would have gotten in on and made it because I could have hit this candle, but you can kind of see it like retraced. A lot of times I would come in on this trade, a trade like this, and see it come here and it would just go back down here and then go up. So, you guys, you all know how that goes. But in this case, it would have went up and moved in my direction, but it came back down already. So on a 5 minute, this probably wouldn't have been a bad trade at all. Uh, at least up onto here. Because yeah, they tried to come here and kind of wick you out, but most likely I probably wouldn't have had enough patience to see this wick come down. So probably would have seen this come up through here like this. Let me see what else. So it comes here, bounces off again, comes back down through the Asian session. And then you see probably another one or two opportunities here, and it goes up through the Asian session, comes back down again, bounces off again, doesn't really take off until this guy right here. And this is what I would want to refine. Like, I'm trying to see, I probably have gotten in on a couple good runs, probably like this before, but I really would like to be on a run like this and see that working for me. and that's what I'm trying to refine better. So let's say I was on the 1 hour chart, kind of paying attention to what's going on the 1 hour chart, drew up my levels. Probably a little bit confusing with the kill zone. So let me take that off again. So yeah, so you can see on the 1 hour, it's bouncing, consolidating in here. And then it wasn't until here that it broke out. Yeah, so it's kind of bouncing here. Didn't really do anything until it breaks out up here. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's likely. I probably would have wanted to get in on something a little bit earlier, but this would have been good to get in on when we break out of that box. And that's what I'm trying to do better. I want to use the higher time frames a lot better. It would have been hard for me to sit here and see the price do all of this though, and just sit around. But if I want to be more efficient, like I want to be connected to like this. So like you see how this broke out here with this nice strong candle out of the box. Like I kind of want to take more advantage of something like this. Let me see VWAP. VWAP is another tool I use. Yeah, VWAP is another tool that I use. Shouldn't be having any issues with getting the VWAP on there though. Okay, 2 indicators is a limit. I'll work it. So I'll just take this off for now, just to see what I could do with the VWAP. I just want to see what the VWAP is doing. Oh, that's why I was acting stupid. Sorry. Get you off. Get you off. I want the VWAP. Yeah. So I just put the VWAP in there because one of the other things I look at to try to help me is try to take buys when I'm above this VWAP and sells when I'm below. But honestly, because I'm looking more of this as a resistance play, I probably wouldn't even look at the VWAP for this particular play because I'm looking to bounce off the resistance. But if I wasn't looking at the resistance for this, I would have probably, yeah, you don't get nothing until there. I probably would have used the VWAP to kind of help me understand if I would get into a trade or not. But this is what I'm talking about, like to kind of just avoid all the kind of back and forth and the false breakouts. Like this is what it's doing on the 1 hour. I probably would have wanted to draw this box up here on the 1 hour and just probably don't come out of that until I see a actual candle. I mean, even this candle right here on the 1 hour is good to look at, but I probably would just keep my eye to see what this candle right here does. And as this is breaking out of here, I would have probably just went to the 5 minute. Then I would probably, as I saw that candle on the hour breaking out, I probably would go to the 5 minute then, and um probably would go to the 5 minute then and then get in on a trade. Maybe I would, yeah, maybe I would start there, and I don't know, maybe I would just keep it to right here just to be safe. Probably would start there and then just probably let it ride out. Yep. See, now I would have just went for like maybe a potential 2-to-1. So this is 3, yeah. So this would have been about a 2-to-1 almost. But I'm listening to a trainer now where this guy would have looked for this to go up to the next resistance point. And I'm like, man, yeah, that would have took a lot of patience for me, but I think eventually, yeah, eventually it got there. That would have took a lot of patience for me, but that's a big reward, to wait for it to hit back up. Once you get this strong you get this strong push up here from the resistance. Yeah, that would have taken a lot of patience for me to wait for that to get all the way up there, but eventually it did. I'm not gonna lie, it would have took me a lot to stay in this area while it was consolidating all up in here. It would have took me a lot just to stay through that. And then when it shot up here, I probably would have called it a day. And then when it went back here and started retrace, I probably would have been out from there. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I would have had the patience unless, it was like overnight and I just said, just convinced myself that I would sleep on it. So yeah, so this would have been in the day. Yeah, some of this would have been overnight. So yeah, I probably would have convinced myself to sleep through this area right here. But yeah, once I saw this in the next day and then just do this right here, I'll be like, oh man, I'm out. So I gotta get better with that. Probably gotta get a little bit better than with that. And that's the type of discipline I would love to build and figure out on, working with the charts like that. Okay. So I think that was it. So you had really several different bounces on the 5 minute from here. That was the 1 hour. And then in the day, yeah, in the day it bounced a couple of times, then went up. So yeah, I want to be better with this. And I'd like to use the higher time frames to kind of, obviously I think I shared before that I'm setting my zones, my resistance zones, support zones, resistance zones, um, and then my trend lines at the higher time frame, more so the 1 hour, but I've been kind of flirting with the daily time frame a little bit too, just to, again, get that big picture in my mind. And then yeah, I would have kind of blocked out, maybe when price started to approach here, probably would have blocked out this area and see what happens, see what it's doing on the lower time frame. And then try to make some decisions based on that. So that's kind of the big focus that I'm going to be having over the next few weeks, is making sure I can do that. I got some additional training to kind of boost my knowledge, boost my understanding of working with time frames like that. So far, I've been really more focused on the 5 and the 1 minute, and maybe playing with the 1 hour to draw up my charts, but I do want to expand that a little bit. I feel like I need to expand that a little bit and see if I can grow. You know, because I want to be able to get in. I want to know how to get in on a move like this, even if I had to jump in when I see that it hits and comes above this black area here or this resistance. Even if I had to wait for that, that's still a pretty big move to the upside. You know, if I was like, hey, I'm waiting for that to go up. Or I'm waiting for that to reverse. And at this point, it was still, you could still argue that this was in an uptrend. Higher high or higher high here, higher low, still going up, high high. So at this point, this was creating still creating a higher low. And it could have potentially shot back up. And so that's what it ended up doing. But it didn't create a higher high. Right. And at this point, even from here, it had already broken the last low. So yeah, you can kind of see that this was going, but it could have still faked out, bounced off with this resistance here or this support here and went back up. So you never know. But again, you could have still argued that this was still in the uptrend, so this would have still made sense. And even if it wasn't, you could still catch this because by this time you would probably start thinking downtrend by the time it start going here. So I guess let's look at real quick what it did here. So let's see what it did here on the lower time frame, and then I'll call it a day. So yeah, let's see what it did before it really rejected and bounced back. So if we go there, we go on the 5 minute, see if we can find that box. Okay, yeah, we ran out. So I don't know if I'll get to catch that one. Dang. Yeah, I got this one. That was that first one. I was up here. So why can't I see that? What am I missing? It bounced up here. This is where my box is at. So if I could see this, I should be able to see this. So what's going on? Hmm. Yeah, I gotta dig into that some more. I don't know what I'm missing there. This is that first box. I thought the other one would be up here somewhere. So may have to come back to that one later. I don't know what happened there. So this is here on Thursday the 20th, July 2023, or July the 20th, 2023. So what is the number? Okay. So we just probably can't go that far. I probably went further than what I thought. Oh, okay. That's what happened. We just can't go that far. This is the box that I was looking at here. That original box. Okay. We just couldn't go back that far. So that's cool. I think maybe what I'll do is maybe let's take a look at this one. Let's just take a look at this real quick and then let's call it a day. The way that it bounced off of here, just kind of want to know what that looks like at the 5 minute. Okay, yeah, so this is where we at right here. Yeah, that whole area, right, is right up in here. So yeah, that whole area that I blocked out is all of this. So on the 5 minute, it did, you know, doesn't go down right away. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't go down right away. I mean, even this would have been a nice move. Like if this broke out of here. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, probably would have missed it here. This is at the end of the day, so it's possible I would have overlooked this if I was trying to wait for price on the 5 minute to come out of this box. You know, it's possible I would have missed that, missed the temptation to get into the move here because this is at the end of the day. Um, right here, this probably would have still been a good move to get in on because I would have looked for this long, strong candle breaking the box I placed on the daily time frame or on the hour time frame. Either one of those, I would have placed that box and would have looked for that. So it's possible that, yeah, but I would have missed this too because I likely wouldn't be up in the Asian session this late. So it came back up. Let me see the next time it broke out. Next time it broke out would have been here. And I would have probably said, okay, I'm looking for this strong candle. Would have broke out here. I would have probably set my stop limit here, or maybe a little bit closer here, closer to the box. So I would have come here, tried to, kind of stop anybody out that had a tight stop loss and then went down. So I could have made some here. If I was patient enough, I would have let it come up here, bounce back off of that line, and it would have made its way down. It would have made its way down. That still would have been a good little, that still would have been a good run. Uh that still would have been a good run. But again, these are the big runs that I'm really trying to refine myself to be a part of. And I guess there's no way to really know for sure. But by looking at the higher time frames, kind of scaling it down, I'm hoping to give myself a better understanding of kind of how to really work with these runs. So even if I took this, which I probably would have took this was after 9 a.m. US session, I probably would have took this. If I saw this breaking out of this box like this on the 1 hour, I probably would have said, hey, let me take this. And it would have probably continued down. This would have been a good little profit here. Even if I wanted to be patient and wait for it, probably wouldn't have waited for this. I probably would have just took this, called it a day. And then the rest of this, I don't think I would have gotten into anything else more here. I probably would have left this Asian session alone. And then maybe here on the next day, probably would have saw another opportunity, say, hey, let me see, this is still in this box. Let me see if it'll break out of there. But you could see how they broke straight through. Even if I would have gotten here, well, I wouldn't have gotten in here because this was too early in the morning. So I don't do any trades until after 9. So that may have been an opportunity. And I probably would have waited for this to get to here, to this candle. Then I would have took this, set my stop limit up here, stop loss up here, and let it ride. Now that would have been good to be a part of that. Like, this is what I want to refine my understanding to get in on these type of trades. So I'm gonna keep working at it and see what I can do. But just wanted to come on here and just just comb through that a little bit more. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, this is Everyday How-Tos, November 18th, 2023. And I'm gonna sign off for tonight.